Hello teachers, today I'm going to show you one of my favorite Google add-ons and one of my favorite EdTech programs, and that is Pear Deck. Pear Deck works amazing with Google Slides. So first you want to download it. You could do that by going to the Chrome store and downloading it, or you could get it by clicking on add-ons in Google Slides, go down to get add-ons and then search for Pear Deck. Now I already have it, and as you can see here, I'm starting off with a very boring slideshow. All I have right now is just a white background showing off Pear Deck, but I want to add some abilities that Pear Deck offers, and it's great for student-paced lessons because you could embed questions and you'll get the data. You could embed websites. You could do a lot of different things with it. So let's get started. So here what I want to do is I want to add a new slide, so I'm going to go ahead and hit New Slide. Now this is what you would normally do. You would add in your information here, and you would add some text, and it would just be that. Now you could ask students questions and then assign it as work for Google Classroom, or you could use Pear Deck to have the questions embedded straight onto the site. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Pear Deck. When you open it up in Google Slides, it's going to actually come up in the right hand side. You can go down and you can see a bunch of different options for ask students a question. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to show each and every one. So the first one that I'm going to do is ask students a question. So I'm going to ask them a text question. So I'm going to go ahead, it's going to start working, and it's going to say that it's adding an interactive question straight into my current slide. As you can see, this is a Pear Deck slide. Now you may be wondering, where's the question? Where do you actually ask it? Well, when you do text-based question like that, you would actually put your question straight onto the slide. And so when students come to this slide, they'll see that you ask them a question, and they're also prompted to give an answer within Pear Deck's own system. And I'll show you what that looks like. And so here I get a question, and obviously I'm supposed to answer it, and so I'll answer my response over towards the right, and I'll put in the answer George Washington. I could add another response if I wanted to as well, or if I'm done, it automatically saves. I just move on to the next slide. Now the next type of question that you can ask is a choice question. So if I go ahead and click on the choice on the right hand side, it's going to start working, and it's going to add a choice question. Now this time, it's going to actually prompt me to add some answer choices. So as you can see here, I entered 3 choices for a multiple choice question, and I could go ahead and at the bottom, update the slide. Now it's going to add this question straight into the slide. Now once again, you have to put the question straight into your slide. So maybe this question is, what is your favorite food out of the listed items? Now again, the students are going to see this. Here I was asked to answer a multiple choice question about my favorite food out of the listed items, so I'm going to go ahead and just select whichever one it is. The next type of question that you can use in Pear Deck is the number question. So I could go ahead and click on the 1, 2, 3 icon here. It's going to start working, and as you can see, it's prompting students to enter a number. So once again, you would have to ask a question here. So I could say, what is 2 plus 2? And then this is what the students are going to see. And here on this slide, the student was prompted to answer 2 plus 2 by entering in a number. Now you could enter a number by hitting numbers on your keyboard, or you can just choose the arrows up here and cycle through. So anything works there. Now the next type of question that you can ask isn't really so much a question, although Pear Deck calls it that. So if you can look on the right hand side, it shows you the www. This is the website icon. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And as you see, it's prompting me now to insert the link to a website. So I'm going to go ahead and put in foxnews.com, and it will actually give you a preview of the website right here. And then if I go ahead and hit update slide, it's going to add that web page straight into the slide to where students don't even need to go to a new window or go to a new tab. And so this is amazing because notice the website is going to be down there for the students, but I could also tell them what to do with this website. This is what the students are going to see. So this is one of my favorite components of Pear Deck, when I actually embedded a website straight into my Google Slides, and you could tell students to look for something specific. You could tell them to find their current event article this way. Now, a couple things to note. As you can see, the full website is here, but it is prompting me and saying that because of my ad blocker that I have on my computer and through Chrome, it is interfering with this. So if I go ahead and click on any one of the links in this web page, it might pose some problems, but if I turned my ad blocker off, I'd be able to navigate this site as if I was actually on the web page. Now, there are 2 additional question types that you can ask, but they do require a premium subscription to their site. Now, like I said, this is a premium feature, so unless you signed up for the free trial or purchased the program, you will not have access to this. I was asked to draw something I learned today, so I will do my terrible example of drawing my version of a pear. And I don't know quite how this is a pear, but I did the best I can. As you can see, there's a pear right here. And I could use different colors. I could use different texts. I could highlight different aspects of it. So imagine also if you put a paragraph or some type of short sentences right into the slide and ask them to annotate it, they could do that right in here. If you ask them math problem, they could write it down right in there. So 2 + 2 = 4. So they could do a lot of different things with this. Now, lastly, this is the Draggable. Again, this is a premium feature. So unless you've signed up for the free trial or the premium version and paid for it, then you won't have this. But this is pretty cool too. You could ask different questions and ask students to literally drag their answers over to different places here. So this is put red fish here. Great. Yellow fish here, awesome, and it automatically saves. So when a student's done, they're just done. Now you do have a few options to allow students to join your session when you're in student paced mode and when the teacher dashboard comes up. So to assign this as homework, you can copy the link below and send it to the students as it says there. You can just hit the button copy link. You can share it directly to Classroom, or you can tell students to go to joinpd.com and then enter the code that it populated for you. Now, when it's time for you to see the student data, especially if you've assigned it as a self-paced study, you gave it to your students for homework per se, what you can do is go to Pear Deck's website, peardeck.com. So when you're on Pear Deck's homepage, peardeck.com, you're going to see in the upper left-hand corner, there's a sessions button. Those are all the sessions that you've started. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And so this is going to be a list of all of my most recent sessions. So if I want to see the data, I'm going to go ahead and actually click on the corresponding date. And it's going to prompt me to open up in a projector or open up the teacher dashboard. Since it's not a live view, I'm going to go ahead and open up the dashboard here. And so this is going to put all of the information right here, and as I can see, there's one student, which was myself, who had joined. I can go through and see if he has done any work. So if I click on any slide, I'll see right here I answered that first slide, George Washington. I can go through every single slide that I put in here and see all the answers that this student gave. Now, if you have a lot of students, as you can tell, this will be pretty tedious to go through each slide. You can sort out your responses by time, by the actual response, or by the student, and you could also see a grid layout instead, which is my preference because if you have a lot of students, it's going to be in a bunch of grids instead of just a list. So that is one way where you can get all of the responses. And then when you're completely done and you know all students have finished it, you could end the session completely in the teacher dashboard by going to the right hand side down at the bottom and click end, and then you could say yes, I'm sure, or you could leave it alone and allow students to keep working. So I'm going to go ahead and end it, and you always want to give a name for it. Now, if you don't want to go into the actual teacher dashboard to see all of the responses and see all the data, and you'd rather see it on one Google Sheet or one area, once you close the session, as you can see here, I've closed this one so no students can go back into it. Once you've done that, you could click on the 3 dots. Now you have the opportunity to export it to a spreadsheet. So if you go ahead and click that, it is going to retrieve your session and all of the information and all the student data, and it's going to create a document with all of the students and the responses that they had for each slide. So as you can see here, I am able to see what time the student has submitted the work, the student's email, and the answers to the slide. Clearly, drawing slides don't come through very well, and draggables don't either because it just gives you the coordinates in which they've dragged the information. But for multiple choice or for text responses, this works great. You get all the data in one place.